What is going on, everyone? Tis Miyanovich, and I welcome you to the main dojo, the place where we process the raw struggles of men in an unprecedented paradigm. There is something inside of you that wants you to be more than what you are. But there also may be something inside of you that wants you to go down. And for some of us, that means going down for good. So, remove your ego, drop your bullshit, become vulnerable, and step into the dojo, mate. So, I wanted to talk about Brandon today. Are you okay with talking about Brandon?
Yeah.
So, I've mentioned in this podcast and mentioned to you here that we have a small crew of developers in LGO. It's not north of 30 people. It's mostly middle-aged men, and the amount of bad shit over the past 5 years or 6 has just been excessive. If I judge it by other relationship circles that I have, it's 10 times worse. Still trying to figure out the why of that, but we've had deaths, we've had suicides. We currently have 2 people that I'm helping who were in suicidal ideation recently or who are on the cusp of it. And it's an unprecedented pooling of darkness is what I would call it. Now, one of the things that happened was last year we lost Brandon Swearingen to a drug overdose. And we're not going to worry about what his family thinks or says. We're going to talk about what's real. And just briefly, I did publish a podcast on the LGO podcast that mentions Brandon's box. And I don't know if you know about it or not, but I had to sneak down to Texas to close us out of the Connex at range 35 because Don's selling.
Yeah.
So all that range, all the area around him got sold.
And it shut him down, basically, yeah.
Yeah, he's still kind of sneaking it in until he sells it. He's has sessions going on with local law enforcement. But so I went down to clean out the Connex box, take the solar panels off, and get all that shit, get it in my vehicle, and take it home, right? Because he wants to sell the Connex box. So the last time I was on that range, we were there with Pincus. And Brandon got heat stroke.
Yeah.
And he was sitting underneath the overhang and just fucking lost, right? He just hit his shoes off, he was just
heat casualty.
He was dying, right?
Yeah.
So there's ice and he's drinking the thing. So I'm like, I'm going to go in the Connex box and get an ice pack from the fucking first aid kit and put it on his neck. So I went into the Connex box, pulled out one of the Instapacks, cracked it, took the box from the Instapack and put it on the work table. And then I went out and put the cold thing on Brandon's neck. And I was like, here, just have that. And he was like, okay, thanks, man. And he recovered and ended up shooting through Pincus's window and doing all that shit with us, right? But I left that Instapack box on the work table.
There, yeah.
And when I came down to clear out the Connex box, before I even went in, I just sat there and thought about everything we'd all been through on that range and all the times, and it was breaking my heart that it's going away. And I'm like, and I thought about Brandon because it's the last time I saw him was there. It was upsetting me already. I thought about John Bidding was supposed to be there the first time we were there, and he committed suicide a couple months before we went there. Bev was supposed to come down one time, and she died 2 weeks after. I was on the phone with her talking about it, and she died 2 weeks after. So I'm thinking about all that. I opened that fucking Connex up, Will, and
there's that box.
the work table. There's nothing on it, just the box. And my legs started shaking.
Yeah.
Like, I got so fucking upset. And I went over and grabbed the box, and I couldn't take it. I put it down. I walked out of the Connex box and just walked around the range because I was so fucking upset. The last time I saw Brandon, that's his box, man. And I have the box. It's right behind me. It's in a special place. So this is fucked up. Losing Brandon's fucked up. Like, and I still can't understand why all these things keep happening to us.
Do you know the backstory on how he kind of ended up there in the first place?
The only thing that I know, you mean how Brandon ended up in the situation he was with the drugs, or ended up?
Yeah.
I know he struggled with drinking, or he had an addiction.
Okay. While he was in active duty Army, he sustained a very bad back injury. And this would have been 03, 04, 05 maybe. And they put him on Oxy. And he ended up so banged out on Oxy, he got a medical discharge. Like, he had disability. Like I don't know if he was 100%. It was up there. Like,
yeah.
His disability check was like more than I made in a lot of months. And the reason I bring that up is, that it's like they knew they fucked up. Like, the VA was aware of how bad Oxy was. Like, that's nearly 20 years ago, and they knew, right? And they're like, hey, sorry we fucked you all up and made you a drug addict. Here, how about a nice discharge? Go away. Right? The problem with that disability check is it allowed him to not have to work. He could skirt by just barely, make the mortgage, make the truck payment, keep food on the table without actually having to work.
Yeah.
And is one of the downsides of taking care of our, it can present, hate to sound all Republican or whatever, but it's, in certain circumstances, if that wasn't there, he wouldn't have had that luxury. It doesn't mean he wouldn't have gone down the same road, but it certainly didn't. It was a contributing factor, I feel, to kind of that path, how that ended up evolving that way. Part of the reason he had that heat stroke situation that day is because he was already not healthy at the time of that training. I didn't know. When he and we talked hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of talking about, life and problems and using and being high. And he always framed it as his drinking problem. And I didn't know. What was really going on. So he never came clean with me about what he was actually using. When towards the end, when it started getting, basically what kept happening is we would schedule a range day here local, where we just run over, and we both lived about 20 minutes apart. And then there was a range that's kind of equidistant from both of us. And so we shot there all the time. It's first place I ever met him in real life, and it's the last place I saw him right before he died, was that range. And he kept flaking on me. I mean, it happened, I don't know, 5-6 times where we would set up a range day, and then it would come around and be like, man, listen. And what he would say is that he was using cocaine. And I don't know if maybe coke was part of the equation, if he was somehow speedballing, mixing. I don't know what the exact deal was, but fentanyl was never in the equation. Like, that word never came out of his mouth that he was using fentanyl, or heroin, or even Oxy again, or anything. So I don't know if he was just too embarrassed to share that with me. What I assume, right? He knew that was not part of my story. Um, and as much as I try to always make it known to everyone, that's why I constantly joke about cocaine, is because it's like, look, I may not have done your thing, but dude, I did a like ridiculous amount of cocaine. So like, I'm not judging you if your thing is like different. Like I get it. They're different animals, but it's, I don't know, but for whatever reason, he never came out and just said that to me. So it was always this disguised, but he would just say, look, like I did a bunch of coke last night, stayed up drinking, and I wouldn't be safe at the range, and I appreciate it. I'd be like, well, thank you for sharing so that we don't get together and have an accident. Right. Like that's, probably best. You're right. And that was that training, that Pincus training. He was already unhealthy, and he almost backed out, and I leaned on him and was like, bro, come on, you already paid for it, like, or whatever, I was like, just come on.
Yeah.
And so he did, but that's why that's why he went down is because he was just not healthy. And that is still my local, that the video that I made that I took down, that was from the parking lot of that video. And that was the first day that I went and shot there after he passed away. I made myself do it like in short order because I knew it was going to be something like, it's my range. Like, this is where I shoot,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get through this and let me just rip the Band-Aid off and go fucking be here. And I sobbed when I pulled in the parking lot, and then I went out and had a pretty good day shooting, just there by myself. And then got back in the car and then sobbed again and made that little video. And then every single time I've been there since, it's corny or whatever, but I feel like he's there with me. Like I always feel his presence when I'm there, or just memories, or however you want to, frame that. But it has been, just selfishly, that's been the biggest. He was my shooting buddy. Like every single time I want to go shoot, I think, oh, let me hear. Oh, fuck, that's right, he's dead. Like every single time there's a split second there where I forget, and I'm like, let me go hit up. Oh, god damn it, yeah, he's gone. And it's surreal. It's just not fucking fair. It pisses me off.
It is weird how that box, like I already kind of, from thinking about being at the range with all of us, kind of felt like he was there. Like, it sounds weird, but it felt from thinking. But then when I saw that box and I touched it, it brought his presence. Like it was almost like it brought me all the way back to the training, and I was going to like come out of the box and you guys were going to all be there. It felt like that, which is why I had to put the fucking box down and go walk around, because
I fully get that. Yeah.
I could, it felt like I was picking the box up when I picked it up, and I'm taking the cold pack out to him, and he's sitting right out there. It felt exactly like that again when I touched the box, like he was around the corner sitting, and I was going to walk out and Brandon was right there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. He was not that, all of our friends who we've done those trainings with are special people, and I think that's your gift, is being able to curate a group of special people and bring us together and actually manifest that into a meet space, as we called it, right? Like actually, people from literally across the country, all the way East Coast, all the way West Coast, right? All coming together, converging, plane tickets and driving and hotels and the whole logistics of it all and everything. But to get those very special people together, and he was definitely one of those special people. He just he was always so sweet and kind and gentle, and a little bit quiet, a little bit shy. But then when he would open up, he was just always. But he did also always carry a sadness that I always felt like from him. And I tried my very best to be a big brother, to be an example. And our last messages, I think I shared them with you. Were my very last text messages with him. He said he was going to go check himself into the VA hospital, into a program. That was it. That was the last I heard from him. It's been fucking horrible. Yeah, that has very much influenced my, like, as far as doing anything with the channel. Like, it's tough because I go out to my garage and all my gun gear and shit's out there, and that, of course, I think of him. And I don't know if you saw the clip I shared yesterday on my socials. With taking my coworker Quan out to the range. But he's been a godsend to be able to have another young cat that I can, like, come on, let me teach you stuff. Yeah. And it through that range trip yesterday, threw it together last minute on Friday. Like last minute, like, hey, you want to go shoot? And he was like, yeah, man, yeah. And then it looked like he wasn't going to make it. And it was like, so I got to the range at 2. We were supposed to meet at 2, and then hadn't heard back. And I was like, he's probably not going to, like, he's not going to make it. It was awfully last minute, right? And then he finally texted me back, and he was like, hey, man, it's looking more like about 2:30 or maybe 3. And I was just like, hey, no problem. I just slowed down and shot less and waited on him. And it was like, oh, thank God. Because being at that range alone is spooky now for me. But yeah, it's that whole, of not having him just in that one aspect of my life, just the shooting part is tragic. But I'll tell you who, one of the last times, not the last time, but one of the last times I saw it, we got together. And this is like exactly who Brandon was to me. My parents have this old family piano, upright piano. It was actually, my grandmother left it to my sister. Well, now my sister lives in England, and there's no way she's ever going to have that piano shipped overseas, right? Like, that's not going to happen. And so I've been kind of leaning on my folks, like, hey, can we find a new home for that piano before y'all die? Because I'm the guy who's going to get stuck trying to rehome it, right? And there's not really much of a market for, like, people buying an upright piano anymore. It's not really a thing. So my sister happened in one of her old home girls here in Houston, her young daughter is learning the piano. And so my sister coordinated with her and was like, if it's yours for free, if you'll come go out to my parents' house and pick it up. So anyway, so she shows up in a U-Haul by herself, my sister's friend. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. I call Brandon. You need help moving a fucking ridiculously heavy upright piano. That's my guy. I call Brandon. Yeah, bro, I'll be there in a minute. Like, because he was that guy. And damn near blew his own back out, trying to help get it in the truck. And we got it in the truck. But yeah, he was that guy. Who do you call when you need to move a fucking huge ass piano? That's your boy. You call Brandon, because he won't say no. Like, he was that guy to me. He wasn't just my shooting buddy. He wasn't just like, he was legit like my homie. Like, and so there's a lot of instances where I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, and I don't mean to put my grief anywhere, on the level of family or something like that, but it's been shitty. It's been real shitty. I find it unfortunate that, like, I literally don't get the thing of not, like his family not wanting to be upfront about what happened. I don't get that, because I just operate in a world of like, well, it's what happened, right? Like, and if we don't share the truth about that, then we can't help other people. Like, we have to share those stories so that other people can be like, fuck, are you serious? Like, I knew that guy. Like, he was great. Like, oh shit. Like, I didn't even know. Like, how, he was like my best buddy and I didn't know. He was hiding it, Um, so yeah, the fentanyl deal is fucking horrifying, uh, but we can't have an honest dialogue about it and help people if we can't be honest about it.
Yeah. Do you know, like, did he go to get something else and it had fentanyl in it, or
He was seeking it out specifically and just misdosed. Um, I do not believe it was. I do not remotely believe that it was like a suicide or anything like that. Like, I do not. We had talked at great length about suicide, like a lot, and it's hard for people who haven't been there to understand that there is a place that we can get to through drug use that is the perfect happy medium between reality and suicide. It's the happy place. It's why we go there, right? If you think of it in terms of like booze, right? Like, we want to be drunk. We don't actually want to throw up and pass out. That's not really the goal. We're looking for that perfect apex drunkenness, right? Where everything feels wonderful. And then sometimes we fuck up and we actually keep drinking a little too much, and then we end up throwing up or we end up blacking out, and like, right? But that wasn't the goal. We weren't trying to get to throw up. We weren't trying to get to blackout. We were trying to get to that one sweet spot where everything is better, right? And we just fucked up when we went a little too far. And that's what happened with him. He fucked up the dose, and he was looking for the apex buzz. And with weed, if you overshoot the mark, you just go to sleep, right? Or you might get a little obnoxious for a while and then you come back down and you're okay. With booze, you typically throw up. You can die, but typically you're going to throw up first or black out. And with fentanyl, you fucking die. Like, there's no margin. You don't have any leeway there. It's just like, oh, I'm not quite there yet. Oh, now I'm dead. Like, that's what it does. More so than even, I think, your traditional opiates and stuff. So, and those have killed certainly enough people, but yeah, the fentanyl thing is insane. And if I'd have known, I would have gone and broken a foot off in his ass. And which is why he didn't tell me, right? It's because
why the move to fentanyl? So are we at the point where, like, other things are just, the receptors are dead for these other drugs, and he's not getting enough response, and he rolls the dice? And
it's budgetary. I think it's just so much cheaper than getting your old school smack and the oxys and whatever. And there's that cycle, like with people that start with oxy, then they, first they're taking the pill as prescribed, then they're sucking the coating off and getting the straight dose, then they're crushing it up and snorting it, right? And then a lot of times that leads to, fuck, I can't get the pills anymore, let me just go ahead, but I do know a guy that I can get some heroin from. So then you get into the needles, and then, right, and it's funny because I joke about cocaine. You couldn't pay me to do any cocaine now because you can't convince me that it doesn't have some fentanyl in it. Like, how the fuck do you know? Like, how do you know? Like, I wouldn't trust it. Fuck no. The days of safely being able to do cocaine, that shit is gone, man.
Did his back, the original back issue, if he's like helping you move a piano?
He fucked his back up that day.
Okay.
He did. I
Okay.
ended up. He literally. I mentioned he like nearly blew out his back. He blew out his back, and I spent about half an hour working on him. Like just laid him down flat on the ground and did a lot of compression and yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
So his back was still like perm erect. It was still kind of fucked up. Like,
yeah, it would tweak on him. Yeah, whatever that old injury was, it had a name and I can't remember, but it's a like one of the spondylolistheses or is one of those kind of deals. It's a subluxation of the vertebrae, and it would trigger nerve pain, and it's just like white hot lightning pain shooting down your legs. And he he triggered it that day. Yeah. But so it had never fully healed, but yeah, I don't think the pain was the reason he was seeking out the high. He was
addicted.
He was an addict. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like me, we like to be fucked up, I think there was some shame and some, right. It's because it's a spiral. You don't feel good about who you are because of all this shit you're doing. And, you could have made better decisions and, and then you feel bad about who you are. So you want to escape that. So you make more bad decisions and get more high, and then it just keeps going, but I don't think he was looking for the off ramp permanent. I think I genuinely believe it was just a missed dose of hot load or whatever you want to call it. Cause that's the way that shit works. It's just, you're talking about like nanograms of, weight. Like it's so like tiny,
right.
Like particulates are just
right.
tiny. And it's like, oop, there's the dose that would have felt great, but you're 0.003 grams over and now you die. So yeah, but yeah, it's been a rough ass year. He died 2 days after my birthday, so that's going to be coming around in September. Good times. And yeah, fucking miss him just nearly daily. There's just constantly something, comes up, LGO stuff on, Facebook doesn't help. Constant. I'm sure you've gone through that with bidding where you just, those reminders, those, hey, memories or whatever pop up on Facebook and you're like, fuck you. And his sister and I have, kept in touch through Facebook or whatever. So, and she's had a real rough time. And so I eventually, when she's ready, we'll do a range day and get her and maybe the boys out or something. But yeah, it's been super spectacular.
It's definitely a reason for, like I did the episode, the series about a couple other things, and then in Brandon's boxes inside of that, and I basically break down and get really upset and yell, like, how much is enough? Like, how much is fucking enough? Like, enough is enough. Like, I've got all of this crises in our development group, and why would I want to keep going to the range with people? Like I know I understand the therapy side of it. I'm talking about from the executive director of LGO. I'd rather be putting that money into these problems, right? Like, cause these men are getting fucking drowned in them. And clearly for some of us, being into guns isn't enough. Like, it's not enough.
It's just occurs to me as I mentioned earlier, the group of people that you curated, brought together, being really special group of, mostly we'll address the men, right? A special group of men. There is probably a common denominator there that we're all connected to our feelings, right?
Sure.
And that in turn may be kind of a common thread where you get, right, like in a lot of ways it might be nice to be one of those just alpha male bros who you got to turn those feelings off, bro, and like maybe that hurts less. And when you get a bunch of caring, sensitive, evolved men together, that maybe we're going to run a little more tragic. I don't know.
Yeah. And maybe if you combine that with having more feelings, but simultaneously feeling like you don't want to burden people.
Right. Which total assholes don't care about burdening anybody. Right. I mean, so that's the alpha males don't burden nobody. Yeah. It's I don't know,
hypersensitivity with, I don't want to reach out because I don't want to bother people.
There's probably a, just thinking offhand of like people that attended those trainings, I think there's probably a much higher than normal common thread of kids who grew up in like GT classes.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a real, like, right, we're talking about a kind of a certain demographic of people. Like, we're not everybody. There is right. That was a common thing. And that is a bit of a common thing I find among liberal gun owners in general. There tends to be sort of a commonality there of above average intelligence people. And that's why they're able to be liberals and also into guns, is because they're not boxed in to that kind of thinking that says, well, I have to conform this way. It's like, no, I'm going to kind of do my own thing, and I'm going to think this, but I'm also going to do this. And that just seems to be a it's not across the board, obviously, but it does seem to be a little bit of a thread in the Stufens.
Yeah.
It's a thing I've noticed. You can post anything about like growing up, I grew up GT and it made me like this or whatever. And it's like, we all chime in and go, fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. That resonates. That probably anybody sitting here listening to us right now, there's a real good chance they grew up GT and there's that struggle of I have this set of beliefs, but I also have this set of beliefs, and they don't necessarily jive with one another. Right. The personal trainer who smokes cigarettes, right? Some things don't make sense. That seems, I just thinking of that group, we're definitely talking about a bunch of men that are above average intelligence. And
I was just talking with both Martin and Jurgen about where I would like to know where our average IQ sits.
Yeah,
I think it's above the Mensa line. It's probably above the Mensa line.
It's up there. It's definitely. I mean, to name drop. I mean, I'm just think Howard, Urian for sure. Like, the
person
Jameis,
you wouldn't think.
I mean, it's basically every single cat there is ticking way above the average line.
And the person that shocks me the most, because he's so bro and you wouldn't know it, but I honestly think Martin probably has the highest IQ of everybody.
Oh yeah,
he has a superlatively high IQ.
Yeah.
And
I don't think that is surprising at all.
Other people, you can't really tell until you really, really talk to him.
No. He's extremely intelligent, like extremely, yeah. And yeah, talk about like the prototype for, the Mang Dojo, like that's your guy, man. I mean,
yeah,
you don't get any more badass than Martin, and yet the sweetest soul, animal lover, and would just give you the shirt off his back, just generous to a fault, and deeply cares about humanity. And I mean, he's like, we need a whole world full of Martins for sure.
Correct.
Right? Like how the
He's
fuck, how do we replicate that? How do we make that contagious? Right? Like he's the just polar opposite of the, you know, Andrew Taints of the world of just, yeah, of just healthy, tonic masculinity, as the kids call it. But yeah, all of the men in the group, are just exceptionally, you know, good souls, and but also probably a little troubled, you know, because if you're in tune with, it's a common thread in AA meetings for sure, is we tend to be a little maybe more in tune to the vibrations of the universe and the pain and the suffering around us, and it makes us crazy. It, you know, we seek out self-soothing behavior because the world is so fucking loud. The static, the noise, you just need to mute it down a little bit because it's fucking horrible. And
before you're taught any skills to do that, you just reach for what you can reach for.
Yeah.
Right.
It just makes it feel better. It makes it go away. I think as I get older, it gets easier because I'm losing my hearing. So the tinnitus just drowned out a lot of the anguish and the sorrow and but I think you get used to, you know, you just come to accept that, like, I'm one person and I do not have the power to change very much.
Yeah.
Right. I can make an impact on a couple of people if I'm lucky. And I've been blessed to, through my being very outspoken about my sobriety, I've been not even the main, like, driver of, but just a small piece of some people's sobriety puzzle. That, you know, I'm talking about some dudes that have some years put together now, and when they go to celebrate it, I'm in a list of like a handful of other people that helped them, you know, decide that they wanted to get that way. Yeah. You and I have talked about Scott, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we have.
To lose a daughter and stay sober through that is unfucking imaginable.
I can't.
Like, if anybody in the world ever had an excuse to be like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to get wasted. Like, I'd be like, I get it, bro. Like, I get that. But instead, he stayed sober through it and was there for his family. Like, holy fuck, man, that's incredible. And yeah, if I have even just a you know, 3% in that equation that helps him get there, then I'm doing the right thing in life, you know. Then I made a difference, or I mattered. And there've been a handful that we're not going to get everybody, and that's been, you know, certainly a part of losing Brandon is the failure on my end, you know, that and everybody says, well, you know, but you didn't fail. There's nothing you could do, and it's like, yeah, but that doesn't change the way I feel. Like, I get. Right. Logically, I get it, right? Like, I get that. I couldn't do anything, especially because he wasn't being forthcoming, right?
Of course.
But that doesn't make it any less shitty that I wasn't able to break through. Because I tried. Cause like,
I'm sure
I was
you did.
Actively trying to mentor him and help him get sober. But there is a bit of a difference with the opioid. I got sober with some people kicking heroin back in the day, and they're on a little different vibrational frequency than your standard, you know, meth or coke or booze or weed or whatever. Like, it gets its hooks in you in a way that I can't really get my mind around. You know, like, I just, at a point, I have to tap out and be like, I know the tricks and tips for, like, not getting drunk, or like, if you want to put weed down and, like, not have that in your life anymore, or coke or whatever. But that opioid, those hooks are different. They're deep, and I'm outclassed. Like, I don't know the tricks and the.
I've noticed it from the standpoint of when somebody was addicted to opioids and they make it, like they become sober, you can tell with almost all of them that they crossed the line in their psychology and their brain architecture, and they fucking broke something. Like with them more than other people,
Yeah.
I've been able to see like this dude broke his shit.
No, and I think they're susceptible to falling back into it, like just real easy. Just
Yeah.
like it's always like right there.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it happens with booze and it happens with other drugs, but
Right.
but I feel like it's like right there at the
Yeah.
surface with the opioids, where it's just like that one thing, and fuck it, I'm going back out. Like it's just right there. I had a used to give a lot of gratitude prayer when I was getting sober that I wasn't them, which feels shitty, but it's like I'm just really grateful I never went down that road, because they are in some pain. Like holy shit. Yeah. But
well, I'm glad you have a new cat to help you. You know, it's that, and that range might be a little haunted forever. And to be honest with you, this thing with Brandon, that's exactly what LGO is for me now.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's a little haunted forever.
So that range is also the first place I ever went shooting with my dad, and the last place I ever went shooting with my dad.
Yeah.
My dad, for the listeners, my dad is still alive, but he's at a stage of Alzheimer's that it's not really my dad anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who my mom is. He does so I sort of already kind of talk about him in past tense. But I knew, like, the last time we went to the range, he was well into dementia already, and I had to really kind of babysit him, and I was like, oh, this is the last trip. Like, I knew, like, it was already just real borderline not safe. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is the last. I got some video and like saved it because I knew, like, oh, this is. So that range has big feels for me. But it's also, you know, I think there's something to be said for moving through that, facing it, owning it, and then carrying on and meeting up there with new people, and continuing to mentor young men and or any women who are like anybody who wants to learn about guns and how to do it safely and learn about the, you know, skill sets and hobbies. And I'm enjoying my entering my Yoda phase of life, you know, being able to, especially I think being somebody who doesn't have my own kids, that it's cool to find young men who will listen and just, you know, impart anything I think can help and give them some direction and some focus. And largely, you know, one of the secrets to my early sobriety and continuing sobriety was learning to be easy on myself.
Yeah.
And hence my whole catchphrase of, you know, be easy, y'all, right? Like, it's part of that is a reminder to myself to be easy on myself.
Yeah.
And we get, you know, we've got enough forces working against us on a daily basis that if we are not our own friend, then you don't stand a chance. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you just like compartmentalize and flush away things that we've done bad and ignore them. It's about owning them and taking responsibility for the dumb, bad shit you've done, and then like truly owning it, and then forgive yourself and let that shit live in the past so that you can be a better person today, be present for family, for your kids, for your wife. And you know, and you will never do that if you are still constantly berating yourself, putting yourself down, and feeling less than, you know. And that's it's the main thing that I had to learn, because I was not proud of who I used to be. And it was weird. I didn't recognize it until I had a little bit of like white knuckle, just like sheer grit sobriety of like, And then started listening to old heads in AA meetings talking about their sobriety. And then it started to put it together like, oh, so that's the thing. You don't completely, like you don't just erase the past. It's like, you've got to own it, and it becomes part of you. It's like a tattoo, it's there, it's on you, but it's not who you are. It's back there, It's just a thing. It's a part of like who you were, but it's not who you are today. And you get to be whoever you want to be each day, one day at a time, right? That's the whole mantra, right? And yeah, I tried with Brandon, and it just, I don't think I got there. I don't think I quite got it to click, but or like it did for a little while. I think he got it. It just didn't quite click.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you got to be easy on yourself and just, accept that you are human and flawed, and you're going to fuck up, and your kids will forgive you for it. Your wife will forgive you for it. Your parents will forgive you for it. Your boss will forgive you for it. But you got to mean it. Like you got to come correct and like own your shit and be like, man, I'm sorry I fucked up. Like I fucked up. That was dumb.
Yeah.
And don't get caught up in the resentment cycle of well, you won't forgive me, so fuck you. Like, yeah. You don't get to forgive yourself. Like, slow your roll, slow down a little. This shit takes time. You don't get to get out of the doghouse that easy. You got to do some work and mean it for a while before people around you will start to come around and forgive you, right? They have to forgive you on their time, but in the meantime, you have to start forgiving yourself. And God, I wish more guys could get it. It's because it's eating us up.
For sure.
Yeah, it's eating us up. Probably another common thread in the aforementioned group of men we were talking about is not a real strong religious. A handful are.
Sure.
A handful of Christians, but also a higher than normal amount of non-Christians, let's say, atheists, right? And something as non-Christians that we get hung up in is we don't get that instant get out of jail free card that Christians have, right? They all carry the, well, Jesus forgives me, so I'm forgiven.
Right.
Boom! Right?
Right.
And when you're not a believer, you may not have that in yourself.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a thing of like, nobody forgives me, or I don't forgive me. They might, but I don't forgive me. It's like, maybe that's kind of the point of the whole Christianity thing is it's incredibly healthy to believe that you are forgiven and that you can forgive yourself so that you can stop living in who you were yesterday and start being who you want to be today and tomorrow.
What is going on, everyone? Tis Miyanovich, and I welcome you to the main dojo, the place where we process the raw struggles of men in an unprecedented paradigm. There is something inside of you that wants you to be more than what you are. But there also may be something inside of you that wants you to go down. And for some of us, that means going down for good. So, remove your ego, drop your bullshit, become vulnerable, and step into the dojo, mate.